Hi everyone, this is Jerry, and this is a live Blitz game. Okay, this is a game against Primo SOF. Just gonna go for the little Caro-Kann. I tend to play this quite a bit. It's one of the more passive type of openings. This is the advanced variation, pawn to e5. I'm just trying to get my bishop outside of my eventual pawn chain. Pawn to e6 is going to be coming up. There's pawn g4 here, there's knight f3, knight c6. Usually g4 is played now, bishop back, and then you see knight g to e2. This bishop kind of gets harassed quite a bit. Yeah. This knight pivots on e2 and then comes to f4. h6 is often needed, otherwise there's some h4 type of moves that come about. h6 is an important point. I need to be able to tuck my bishop away on h7. Because these pawns are fixed in this manner, I'm looking to play to c5 at some point to strike at the d4 pawn. Right now this is considered to be the base of the white pawn structure. Bishop out maybe here. Knight here. It's a bit awkward to try and develop my king side as a result of this pawn being on e5, because the most natural square for my knight is to come to f6, but this pawn's guarding it. Now h4, not sure if h4 is appropriate here. See, if I play h5 now, this knight comes to f4, and it's a bit annoying because it's hitting both h5 and g6. I think I just play c5 here. Strike at this pawn. c5, strike at d4, and then follow up with knight c6. Not really thinking like a ton of moves deep here. Usually if you try to think too far ahead, you find that just like 2 moves into it, a lot of the calculations you were doing is for naught. I'm just focused on maybe trying to make the best move or 2 moves in advance, and that's about it. It's rare that I'm able to anticipate what the position is like 3 moves down the line. I'm thinking he might come to g2 with his bishop, or maybe even e3, putting pressure indirectly on the c5 pawn. If he just takes, I just recapture my bishop, and he has, as a result, helped develop one of my pieces. He should probably avoid taking here. He should probably play bishop here, maybe even knight here. If he plays knight here, I'll tuck my bishop back. Yeah, just move my bishop back. Now this could be a point where he could maybe just do a piece sacrifice. Right now both knights are focused here, and maybe even the bishop could come here, and there might be some sack going on. Alright, so there's 2 pieces hitting this pawn on c5, his pawn directly and bishop indirectly. I think I just take pawn takes pawn and then follow up with knight to c6. I don't think there's anything better. Or maybe just knight c6 right away. That's one thing that's pretty good to consider in your own games. If you're anticipating, let's say, capturing a pawn and then following up with knight to c6, oftentimes if you switch the order it might turn out to be better. So maybe instead of pawn takes pawn and knight c6, maybe knight c6 and threaten pawn takes pawn. So just switching the move order might turn out to be better. Actually, I think that knight c6 might be best, because if pawn takes pawn, then I could push d4, and I'd be forking the bishop and knight. Yeah, I'm going to go for that. Knight c6. If he takes, I push forward, and I'd be forking the bishop and knight. I'll win material. I think pawn takes is bad here. His center is being put under. There's a lot of pressure being put on his center. He has to maybe support this square with the knight. It seems to be a bit awkward. I'm feeling pretty good at this point in the game. He's a lot lower rated than me, but I think he's you know, judging by his play here, I think he's actually much better than this rating. See, he can't really, if he wants to develop this bishop, he'd have to come here. This bishop would indirectly influence these central squares. Right now my knight is focused on these two squares. By playing the bishop here, the bishop temporarily takes my knight out of the game. He's already getting very low on time. This game might not even reach an endgame phase. Okay, queen here, preparing to queenside castle. This is a good move, I think. Pawn takes, bishop takes, knight takes. Then I have to worry about a bishop coming out here. Let's see. I'm thinking, do I go ahead and take, recapture, knight takes, and then bring my knight to e7 and then c6? Or do I play my knight here first? So once again, I'm questioning the move order. Do I play knight here first? Because this threat of the fork is still in the air. If I play knight g to e7, if pawn takes pawn, just pawn push. And then I think I'd be doing pretty good. I'm going to go for... Actually, if I play knight g to e7, he might play knight here. Because as soon as I play knight g to e7, my d6 square is no longer defended by my bishop, so this knight might be able to pivot on b5 and then hop on d6. Might be a bit awkward for me. I'll take first, because I didn't like the idea of this knight being able to come here and then here. Alright, I'm going to take, queen takes, and then knight to these two. Knight, yeah. Knight here, and then to c6. If he checks me, I'd block with my bishop. And no, actually, I could have taken this pawn, right? But that's really not something I was considering at that point, because I was more concerned about my king's safety. My bishop being on sort of like the king side of the board here. Well, not sort of, he is on the king side, but being over here, I have to watch my light squares on the queen side as a result. Okay, so the queen here, anticipating my knight coming here. He probably, I think it might have been better to first wait for my knight to come here, because, I mean, right now, he already told me, like, a move sooner, the address for his queen. Okay, just knight here seems natural. Attacking this pawn, making way for my bishop to come out. I think I'm clearly better at this point. Pressure on this pawn. I have the bishop pair. This is usually an asset. This would be, I'm pretty sure this would be considered an asset in this position because it's an open position. And bishops function well in open positions. So what to do about this pawn here? I mean, I don't even have to go ahead and capture it. Well, pin in the knight. It's a developing move. This is a good move. He's probably still going to go queenside. With these two pawns having advanced, kingside castling probably wouldn't be the greatest. I think I'll do similar. Develop my bishop and pose some problems. He has 3 pieces on this diagonal, so that could be a bit awkward for him to get out of. Alright, bishop takes, recapture. Then queen out. I'm getting ready to just take the knight and grab this pawn. I actually have to worry about my pawn here. Do I take the knight, or do I play here? I think I play here first. I think he might be in some trouble. I'm ready to just win a piece here, because my rook is indirectly pinning his pawn to his king, so right now it's really, yeah, pawn to c5 now. Pawn to c5 followed by d4. He really can't chase my bishop away with a move like a3, because I could just take my bishop. Alright, I'm going to end up winning a piece here, because once again, this pawn is indirectly pinned to the king, so as soon as my bishop moves, this pawn is essentially powerless. So I could take twice on this square. My bishop is, yeah, he's in rough shape now. I think it's pretty much just a matter of winning the game from here. Just coming down to see who can move quick. Queen's getting harassed. My queen keeps getting harassed. Just going to double on the B file here. Like a pre-move. Just trying to crash through at this point. Yeah, he's going to get mated. Oh. Alright, well that was a fairly good game. Again, this guy's rating wasn't, the highest, but I think he played a very good game nevertheless. So that's all for this video. Hope you got something out of it. Rating and commenting, as always, are appreciated. Thanks so much. Bye.